Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Jobu. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally doesn't work. Ah, boy. The holiday weekend is over, but at least the good news is it's already Tuesday, so it'll be a short work week. But it's so hard to get back into the swing of things after having 3 great days. Hope all of you guys did have a great Memorial weekend, and thank you for tuning in to this morning's edition of Don't Sleep on the Dallas Cowboys, because you literally cannot sleep on the Dallas Cowboys because news always happens late in the evening, late at night, first thing in the morning, so you want to be kept up to speed with everything that's happening with our team. Now, wanted to answer a couple of questions from some of the fans out there. I got a comment that I was kind of surprised about this morning. One fan said that over the last 3 months, I have been really, really negative, and that's not my brand. And if I continue to be negative, they don't want me as part of the Dallas Cowboy fandom. Well, I don't think I'm any more negative than I have been. I am critical of things the Cowboys have done. Clearly, our team, after watching the Philadelphia Eagles, the wingless wonders that they used to be, go from worst to first and win a Super Bowl, you need to start looking at what are the Cowboys doing to get back to the top. It's been 23 years since we've had a Super Bowl. Now, I am positive. I love the Cowboys. I love a lot of the moves that the team has made. You can't argue with getting a Connor Williams on that offensive line. You can't argue with trying to get your salary cap in order. You can't argue with bringing in a Chris Richard and some of the other moves and things that they've made. But I am a fan of the Dallas Cowboys. I absolutely positively love the Dallas Cowboys. But just to go out and just think everything is unicorns and rainbows would be kind of a disservice to us as fans. You can't go blindly and think that everything's going to be perfect when you know that it's not going to be. And I say the things that I honestly see or believe because I hope that maybe somebody else will see it and say, oh, well, maybe we need to do something different. If Jerry Jones thinks we're all satisfied, we're happy with what the team does, he's not forced to do anything differently or to change at all. But we as fans have the right to say, you know what, we want to see better. I'm still positive. I still live my day every single day trying to live in service of others. I am happy about every morning that I wake up. I am happy and ecstatic about being a Dallas Cowboy fan. But negative? I don't think I'm negative. I just think that I am a fan that wants his team to do a lot better. Now, during our live stream last night, it was actually great getting some of the questions and stuff that we get. And we got a comment from a person who said they'd like to see Zeke Elliott rush for 2,150 yards next season. And I say, pump the brakes on that. Hold up just a minute. That looks great in the record books and everything. You know, you'd like to see him have the record and everything. But here's what you have to understand is, generally speaking, once you hit that 380 carries per season, once you hit that 2,000-yard season, chances are you're never going to be anything like you were again. The only person that's ever done that twice was Eric Dickerson. Other than that, it's not been a good statistic for a longevity of a career. I don't want to see Zeke Elliott out of the league in 3 or 4 years or see him as a shell of himself. Your body can only take so much. When you think about Adrian Peterson, who came back from that catastrophic knee injury and rushed for 2,097 yards, from that point on, he was never quite the same. He got 1,266 yards the next year, 75 the year after that, 1,485, 75, and 521. So yeah, he had that one great season, but then the rest of it declined. Same thing with, like, say, Adam Jones. Excuse me, not Adam Jones. Sorry, Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson, 2,006 yards in 2009. Then he went to 1,300, then to 1,000, 1,200, boom, 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 boom. It's just your body can't take that pounding. And even with us, we look at what we have with DeMarco Murray. Truth be told, everybody thinks of the 2014 season as his best season, where he averaged 4.7 yards a carry and had 1,840 yards. But I will actually say the season before, where he had less carries and averaged 5.2 yards, only getting 1,121 yards, was a more effective year for him, because he wasn't running to the ground. He was picking up a half a yard more per carry. But once he had all of those carries, his numbers went downhill. He went to Philadelphia, and Lord knows the stank was all over him. He went from 4.7 yards a carry to 3.6. And from there, he did a little better in Tennessee, 4.4, 1,200 yards. But then last year, 3.6, 659 yards. So, yeah, that sounds great on paper. But we need Zeke Elliott for more than just a few years. We need him to be a great back for the next 7, 8, 9 years. And better to spread that around. Spread that wealth. Don't let them just pound on him and kill him to the point where he's just done. And there's more cases out there. I mean, you can look at Jamal Lewis, from the Ravens. And, Terrell Davis with Denver. Because literally hit that 2,000-yard plateau, and 2 years later he's out the league. So let's pump the brakes on hoping that he gets that 2,150 yards. What I'm actually hoping is that we keep him around 1,500, 1,600 yards during the season, and we end up spreading the ball around with a nice ball control offense, where again we got no choice but to spread the ball with our wide receiver core. But the thing I find is so amazing is how everybody talks about, you got no names for wide receivers. You got nobodies. Well, generally speaking, everybody's a nobody until they become a somebody. This time last year, what did you think of DeMarcus Lawrence? Did you look at your mind and say, he's going to have 14 and a half sacks? History would tell you DeMarcus Lawrence had 2 sacks his rookie year, 8 sacks his second year, 1 sack the next year. Most people are thinking of, this is a do-or-die season for DeMarcus Lawrence. He might not even be a starter. Now, he's got a franchise tag. There are other guys that you didn't think of that weren't high draft picks. David Irving was another guy who we signed from a practice squad. You didn't think that he would, in his second year with us, get 7 sacks in 8 games and literally eat Aaron Rodgers for lunch. So there will be some guys that you least expect on this team that will step up. And I think we actually have a great combination now with young talent, with speed, and a young team that is going to grow together. I don't know if we'll challenge for Super Bowl this year, but you can look at the roster and say, okay, you've got really 5 guys that should be first-round talents, okay? Connor Williams, for whatever reason, slipped to the second round. That should have been first-round drafted offensive lineman. You end up looking at Lyle Collins, who would have been a first-round drafted offensive lineman, had extenuating circumstances that he had nothing to do with, weren't there. And you look at Tyron Smith looking like he's in great shape, hopefully rehabbing the back and doesn't have those issues. You look at a Zach Martin, hopefully they get him signed. And you look at Travis Frederick, one of the best centers in football. When you have a line like that, that's still really young, you have a young quarterback, you have a young running back, that bodes well for the next 4 or 5 years. This is the opening process of having that team that you've built together to make a run for the next couple of years. The window is wide open. And now on the defense, you see them beginning to put pieces in place. It's still gotten young. We got rid of our Morris Claibornes and our Brandon Carrs and things, and our Orlando Scandricks. Now you've got a young secondary. You've got young linebackers with Van Der Esch and Jalen Smith. And you got a rotation of really good guys. So when you start looking at the roster completely, you have to feel good about the direction that the team's going. So whether or not they get it all together, whether or not we have still some luck and some calls that go our way, well, that's yet to be determined. But you've got the pieces and the makings of a team that'll win. Which brings me to the last question that somebody had, or comment. They said they don't see us being more than 8-8 this year. And I kind of scratch my head and say, how do you see 8-8 when, as bad as everything was last year, we still went 9-7. You lost key guys, your two best offensive players, and Tyron Smith and Zeke Elliott. You lost your general, Sean Lee, and had really no linebackers. But you were still able to get a 9-7 season, and had a couple of things went your way, you would have still made the playoffs. The one thing you can look at the Cowboys and say is they've been able to take care of business in their division. Since 2014, we have been 15-9. That's pretty good, especially when you consider 2015, we only won 4 games. 3 of those were in our division. If we can continue to handle business in our division like we have been, we'll be in great shape. So 8-8, no. I'm looking at about 11-5. But guys, it's time to get ready to go back to work. As they tell me, don't quit your day job. I'm Mark Holmes. This is Cowboy Joe Boo, and I hope you have a great work week. And I'll see you guys soon.